The one admits the essence admits all things. Chapter 1, entitled Iridescence. One is immediately taken with iridescent quality of the self, how its colors are all changing and remain never the same. It is like a feather caught on the wind, or perhaps it is more like an opal in whose fire we see made figures which in a moment disappear and are never seen again. It appears that we are not one person but many, for in youth we see ourselves as one thing, and in maturity quite another. Our very bodies change, and even more so our minds. We have our beginning only in change, and there is no image of the self, for it is constantly unfolding. It is as though it were the caterpillar and the chrysalis, the opening and the butterfly. It is being is in the transformation, and the more we unfold to it, the more we peel off the superfluous layers, the further away we get from any definition of what it is. All we know is the contradiction that being is becoming, and that the image recedes the moment it comes forth. Life never loses this quality of being miraculous and strange. Yet if a man sees all this, how the known is forever becoming the unknown ever becoming the known, then he is freed from any compulsion to grasp an identity, and may become what he is, thus ending contradiction. In such a state, one beholds that the appearance of this strange is the universe of joy, and love is itself this process of unfolding. Only in the strange does one discover themselves. When we look upon the face of the lonely and the broken, we see depths of our own compassion. This is what it is meant by the statement that only freaks can tell us the nature of the truth, for the freak is obviously the unexpected and unknown, and it is only the unknown that increases our knowledge, and only the stranger who increases our love. Those who are just like us, whom we already know, tell us nothing more about ourselves, but the stranger and the freak reveal the limits of our understanding. We know they are different because we do not know ourselves. In the face of the outcasts is our own brutality. We are not really offended by the ugly face, but only by the terrible challenge it is to our ability to love. It is an emotional laziness, an intellectual dullness that makes us reject the peculiar and abnormal. And in this there is the greatest tragedy of all, for insofar as we reject the strange, we reject the wide view, which is in fact the truth itself. How we behave towards our own people, towards those upon whom we are dependent, reveals nothing except our politics and self-seeking. But how we behave towards strangers reveals the very depth of our humanity, and we are civilized only in the degree that the stranger is welcome. One way to the other, we offer the stranger the ultimate respect, which is the honor of seeing his individuality and not forgetting it. As long as he remains strange, he cannot be assimilated and remains outstanding among others. We are compelled to watch them or ourselves and perceptions and remain aroused. They may remain a keeper of secrets, and of treasures. To watch and to listen is not only the ultimate respect, it is the beginning of love. And we fall in love only with strangers, or only with those whom we suddenly realize we have never seen before, even though they may have passed us 1,000 times each day. A stranger arouses either our love or our inability to love, and thus presents us with a mirror of what we really are. Hence it is said that in the presence of the stranger we stand face to face with God. Mysterious is the birth of the beautiful seeing. In being obscured, it clarifies all. In losing its way, it discovers itself. The self is thus come in the act of departing and lives in the moment and movement of the watching and still. The more you discard the move, the more you have gained, for the self is the unfolding and the passing of all things. Depart from your nationality, and you find the whole of yourself. Discard everything, deny everything, and there is that which still remains, and that is the essence of what you are. What you are cannot be found in seeking an identity. It can be found only in the absolute emptiness of watching, for what you are is perception. And perception is devoid of an identity, even though it absorbs all identities. The identity is only what you possess, only what has been given to you, your name, your license, your diploma. And how quickly these things are taken away from you. They are not even the image of what you truly are. They are totally superficial. It is only when you have freed yourself from an identity that you can find out what the real self, the self really is. For it is something that is not apart from the rest of the world. And while you believe yourself to be utterly separate, it will always elude you. Why do you seek an identity when you can't possibly be without one? You are. And that is a fact which needs no explanation. When you are worrying about who you are not seeing the universe. You are not seeing the beauty of roots and trees and rivers, but are utterly lost in the delusion of yourself. And the more you try to discover your identity, the more lost you become. When you realize that you cannot find in an identity, you have already found it. It seems to me that the peacock is perhaps the best symbol there is for the identity for the self. On one hand, there is all its ostentation, all its awkward strutting and self-conscious shrieking. But on the other hand, there is the actual beauty of its thousands eyes. The actual beauty of its strutting is which one realizes that the phenomena of the ego is also the phenomena of the universe. The being of the one is also the being of the other. For there is only one being, divine and splendid, whose thousands of eyes are the egos of all creatures gazing back at the vastness of existence.